Welcome back to the Sanctuary of Secrets, the archive of the human heart, and the only channel where we don't just report the news, we dissect the emotions that drive the headlines. You are watching Mr. Magazine, and I am honored to be your guide through the turbulent waters of celebrity romance. Today, we are not talking about a premiere, a red carpet, or a new project. We are talking about the end of a dream. We are discussing a story that feels like it was ripped from the pages of a tragic novel, yet it is happening right now, in real time. It is the story of Barış Baktaş, a wedding that was days away from reality, and a confession that has shattered the lives of 3 people. It is a tale of a man standing at the altar of his future, only to look back and realize he is still haunted by his past. But before we open this dossier of heartbreak, I have a request for my loyal community. If you value journalism that treats love and loss with the depth they deserve, please destroy that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We are building a community of empathy here. For those who wish to support independent storytelling and stand with us on the front lines, the Join button is waiting for you below. Your membership keeps the lights on and the stories flowing. Now, take a deep breath. We need to talk about why Barış Baktaş couldn't say I do. In the world of celebrity news, a wedding is usually the ultimate climax, a celebration of union, luxury, and happy endings. For weeks, the industry has been buzzing with the preparations for Barış Baktaş's nuptials. The invitations were reportedly being discussed, the venue was likely secured, and the flowers were being chosen. To the outside observer, Barış and his fiancée, known to the public as Gülüm, were the picture of a couple marching steadily toward their happily ever after. But as we know, the camera only captures the surface. Beneath the veneer of wedding planning, a storm was brewing. Reports indicate that as the preparations reached their final, frantic stages, Barış Baktaş began to withdraw. The joy that should have defined this period was replaced by a brooding silence. Between takes on set, instead of discussing honeymoon plans, he was seen staring into the distance, lost in a reverie that no one could penetrate. And then, just as the finish line was in sight, Barış pulled the emergency brake. In a move that has stunned his inner circle and sent shockwaves through the gossip columns, he cancelled the wedding. The cancellation itself is news, but the reason is a tragedy. Barış did not blame cold feet. He did not blame career pressures. He blamed his own heart. According to exclusive reports, Barış gathered his closest confidants and delivered a confession that was as brutal as it was honest. I can't be unfair to Gülüm while I'm still in love with Yağmur. Let us pause and analyze the weight of this sentence. It is an admission of guilt, of love, and of a moral crisis all at once. By naming Yağmur Yüksel, his former partner and co-star, Barış admitted that his past was not past. It was his present. For years, observers have whispered that Barış never truly moved on from Yağmur. Their relationship was high-profile, intense, and when it ended, it seemed to leave a void that no amount of time could fill. While Yağmur threw herself into her career, building a fortress of success around her heart, Barış apparently remained stuck in the ruins of their love. This confession reveals that he realized, perhaps too late, that marrying Gülüm would not just be a mistake, it would be a lie. In every love triangle, there is a corner that bears the brunt of the pain. In this story, that person is Gülüm. Gülüm is described by friends as being devastated. Imagine the humiliation, the shock, and the sheer grief of having your life partner cancel your future days before it begins. The sudden end of their shared dreams has cast a pall over her social circle. She is the collateral damage of a love story she wasn't even the protagonist of. Her reaction, reportedly shared with close friends, is heartbreaking in its simplicity. I wish I had been honest from the beginning. And later, a more profound realization, if there are 2 people in the same heart, the most innocent one pays the price. This quote captures the essence of the tragedy. Gülüm did nothing wrong. She loved, she trusted, and she planned a future. But she was fighting a ghost she couldn't see. She was competing with a memory that Barış kept alive in the sanctuary of his mind. To discover that the relationship she deemed marriage-worthy was actually a shadow of another woman is a blow that will likely take years to heal. Barış's decision has turned the internet into a courtroom. Was this an act of supreme courage, or an act of supreme selfishness? One faction argues that Boris is a hero for his honesty. Better to break a heart now than to ruin a life later, they say. By cancelling the wedding, he saved Gulam from a loveless marriage and a likely divorce. He refused to live a lie, which requires a terrifying amount of bravery. The opposing faction, however, is less forgiving. They argue that this realization came far too late. You don't wait until the invitations are printed to realize you love your ex, critics argue. They view his actions as reckless and cruel, a sign of a man who played with a woman's heart until the reality of commitment forced him to stop. I have to pause here to ask you, the jury of public opinion. Is Boris Baktash a villain for cancelling the wedding, or a hero for telling the truth? Is there ever a good time to admit you still love an ex? I want to read your ethical debates in the comments below. And if this deep dive is resonating with you, please consider hitting the join button. Your support allows us to tell these complicated, human stories. And what of the woman at the center of the storm? Yağmur Yüksel has maintained a silence that is louder than any scream. Since the news broke, she has not issued a statement. She has not given an interview. However, in the digital age, silence is often curated. Her social media posts in the wake of the cancellation have been scrutinized by thousands of eyes. While she hasn't mentioned names, her posts are described as meaningful and calm yet striking. Is she sending messages in code? Is she aware that a wedding was stopped because of her? It is alleged that Yağmur is deliberately choosing to stay above the fray, avoiding the mud of public speculation. But her presence is felt everywhere. She is the invisible force that derailed a marriage. New details emerging from behind the scenes paint a picture of Boris's mental state leading up to the decision. It is said that as the wedding preparations advanced, his inner turmoil became uncontainable. He reportedly asked friends repeatedly, "Am I with the right person at the right time?" This question is the hallmark of a man in crisis. It suggests that he was desperately looking for reassurance, hoping someone would tell him he was doing the right thing. But in the quiet moments of introspection, the answer he found was always Yağmur. He realized that his feelings were not just nostalgic, they were active, alive, and demanding to be felt. So, where do we go from here? The gossip world is pregnant with anticipation. For Gulam, the path forward is one of healing. She has reportedly turned off her phone, retreating into the safety of her family and close friends. It is said she will be cautious about relationships for a long time, her trust shattered by the man she thought was her soulmate. For Boris, the road is uncertain. He has cleared the deck, but at what cost? He has broken a heart and risked his public image. Will he reach out to Yağmur? Rumors suggest they haven't had direct contact for some time, communicating only through the grapevine of mutual friends. But with the obstacle of the engagement removed, will old wounds be reopened? And for Yağmur, the question remains, does she even want him back? Or is she content being the one who got away, the muse who inspired a tragedy but refuses to participate in it? According to gossip circles, this is merely the end of the first act. The calm has not yet been restored. We are waiting for statements, for sightings, for the inevitable collision of these three lives. Some fans on social media are already writing the script for a reconciliation, arguing that fate intervened to stop a mistake so that true love could prevail. Others are mourning the destruction of Gulam's happiness. Ultimately, this story serves as a brutal reminder of the complexity of the human heart. We can plan our lives, we can send out invitations, and we can try to move on. But love? Real, unfinished, messy love does not follow a schedule. Boris Baktash made a choice that will define his life for years to come. He chose the painful truth over a comfortable lie. Whether that choice leads him back to Yağmur or leaves him alone with his integrity remains to be seen. And so, we leave this story with a sense of heavy melancholy. A wedding dress will not be worn. Vows will not be spoken. But perhaps, in the wreckage of this cancellation, three people will eventually find the path they were actually meant to walk. We will, of course, keep our eyes glued to this developing saga. If Boris speaks, or if Yağmur breaks her silence, you will hear it here first. Before you go, I have one final question for you. Do you think Boris and Yağmur will get back together after this? Let me know your predictions in the comments. And remember, if you enjoyed this detailed breakdown of the year's biggest heartbreak, the best way to support Mr. Magazine is to click that join button. It gives you a special badge, priority in comments, and helps us keep the truth alive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your fellow romantics. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your heart guarded. This is Mr. Magazine, signing off.